Afternoon Fantasy Bay. Mike Williams here, and we're going to have a Week 7 waiver wire edition. So, I know a lot of you having your ups and downs, and you've lost some players, you got players on bye. I'm here to help you out with getting through those tough times. So, let's get started. Kirk Cousins is now to be believed in. Ever since Adam Thielen came out with the comments about getting them the ball and Stephon Diggs was upset, ever since then, he hooked up Diggs, he hooked up Thielen. And it hasn't hurt Cook too much either. So I'm loving this offense. I think Kirk Cousins is a great add. He's been playing amazing these last couple weeks, 300 yards a game. Last 2 games, he had 4 touchdowns. That's beastly numbers. Loving it. And he's been having over 130 QBR, which is always awesome. All right. Jacoby Brissett has also been playing fantastic. He had 36 fantasy points last week, 4 touchdowns, 300 yards. He has done a fantastic job filling in the shoes of Andrew Luck. There is no new Andrew Luck, but my man's doing pretty well. So, Jacoby Brissett, keep it up, man. I think he's a great addition as a starter or a reliable backup. All right, Matthew Stafford played great, 36 fantasy points. He had 4 touchdowns. I think he's a great add off the waiver wire. I like the matchup this week. All right, next we're going to go to Drew Brees. So Drew Brees was dropped in a lot of leagues, and as was Cam Newton. I think those are both good adds. They both should be coming back soon. I take Brees over Cam if I'm going to choose between the two. Also, Ryan Tannehill is a sleeper. I think Marcus Mariota is not very good, but I think Ryan Tannehill is a slightly better Marcus Mariota. They both run a little bit, and I think Tannehill is a little bit more accurate. All right, let's get to the wide receiver plays you should pick up. Kenny Stills. My man Will Fuller went down. He's going to be down for a couple weeks. I think that Kenny Stills slides right in there, and I think he's going to be a great play these next few weeks, and he has great upside. He's very fast. He's a decent route runner, and Deshaun Watson needs a number 2. So I think he's great. Corey Davis had himself a game. 20 points, 6 receptions off of 7 targets, 80 yards, and a touchdown. I really like him with Ryan Tannehill. I think, don't get me wrong, I'm not throwing him in the top 20 or anything, but as a wide receiver 3 flex play, I think you can do worse than Corey Davis considering he's getting decent targets and he's very talented. Got myself a phone call there. All right. Also, keep an eye on A.J. Brown. I don't know if I'm adding him per se right now, but I think that he could be pretty solid moving forward, so keep an eye on him. Alden Tate, I've been telling people for weeks that people need to pick up Alden Tate. I mean, my man's getting 65 yards, 90 yards last game, a touchdown the game before. He's been playing pretty solid. So if you need wide receiver help, don't sleep on Alden Tate, man. Let's go to Miami Dolphins. I hate picking up people from the Dolphins. But, you know, when Fitzmagic is back there slinging the ball, he's not too bad. Devonta Parker, I think he's a solid play. 16 points this last game, 10 targets. Like I said, you got to follow the targets. And if he's going to give him 10 targets in a Ryan Fitzpatrick offense, I mean, it's going to be trouble. 55 yards this last game and a touchdown. 28 yards the game before, touchdown. Game before that, touchdown. It's looking like he's playing pretty solid, pretty consistent, and, I mean, I think he's a decent play. 1 second. Preston Williams is also seeing an increase in targets. The last 3 weeks, 7, 6, 8. 8 targets is very solid. So he had 82 yards. I keep an eye on Preston Williams as well. Danny Amendola, he's a real hit or miss, but had 100 yards last week, 11 targets, 8 receptions with Kerryon Johnson going down, I think that Danny Amendola could possibly get a little bit more love. And I don't what to do with the Patriots receivers, everybody. They traded for Mo Sanu. I like Mo Sanu. I think Mo Sanu is very talented, but I think there's a lot of mouths to feed already. So you got. It does make me worry a little bit about Gordon, though. Does that mean that he's a little more injured than we think he is, or do they know maybe he has some substance abuse stuff happening outside of football? I know that he's had his troubles in the past. I'm really rooting for him this year, but I'm hoping that the signing of Mohamed Sanu doesn't mean that there is an issue with Josh Gordon, but I feel like they may be correlated. But even if Julian Edelman, Gordon, Philip Dorsett, Myers, I mean, that's a lot of mouths to feed. And he was already a wide receiver 3 on a pretty high-powered offense. They may not be winning games, but Matt Ryan's been slinging the rock 300 yards a game. So, I mean, it's not like he hasn't been getting touches already, and he's going to an even more packed offense. I guess you can say that, there'll be more touchdown opportunities, which 100%. Of course, the Patriots have more touchdown opportunities, but don't the Patriots like to run the ball when they get close? So, I mean, now you're going between not just the wide receivers, the 3 or 4 running backs that they use on a regular basis. I mean, hell, Bolton's taking shots down the field now. So, I mean, I think that Mohamed Sanu is a solid add. I just don't want you to get your hopes up like he's going to be a top 30 play. All right, let's go to the running back position. Start off with Ty Johnson. So, Kerryon Johnson got injured. He's going to the IR. That means he must be out at least 8 weeks. So, Ty Johnson is a must-add. I'm not quite sure what the team is going to do offensively. Are they going to make a trade? Could they possibly be going for a backup like Rashad Penny or who else would be a good backup to pick up for them? Anyways, they could be picking up anybody. I mean, hell, they could trade for Melvin Gordon if they want. So, Ty Johnson's a great add because somebody has to run the ball back there, and he played okay. 8 fantasy points, 10 attempts, 4 receptions. That's pretty solid. Chase Edmonds. Woo! I've been telling y'all to pick this man up. He was a beast last week. My man David Johnson ran like one play, and then Chase Edmonds was like, nah, man, I know you hurt. Sit down. Get ready for next week. Hold my beer. I got this. 3 touchdowns later, my man is just walking all over this team. Embarrassing the Giants. So obviously you should pick up Chase Edmonds, but I'm sure he's been picked up in most leagues, just like this other fellow I'm about to mention, Latavius Murray. If you didn't believe in him last week, well, you're going to have to pay up for him if you want him to get him this week. And Alvin Kamara may come back this week, so it's pretty up in the air. After that, I'm looking at backups. Solid backups, though. Not like trash backups. Like Alexander Madison, Tony Pollard, Raquel Armstead. Benny Snell. Players that if the starter goes down, you immediately have a top 10, top 15 running back. If Dalvin Cook goes down and you have Alexander Madison, you now have a top 15, top 10 running back for sure. Book it. Same thing with Tony Pollard. Same thing with Armstead. If any one of those starters go out, you now have it. And that doesn't mean that you have to have the starter to get them. You can just have Alexander Madison if you have a spot on your bench that you're not using. If you have garbage on your bench that you're never going to use and they just kind of sit there, fill it up with backups. Startable backups if the starter gets injured. And sometimes they get you flex play anyways. Chase Edmonds, even before David Johnson went down, had a couple pretty good games. Alexander Madison looks pretty good. Tony Pollard has had a couple decent games. So that's it on the running backs. All right, let's go tight ends. Gerald Everett. I've been banging the drum for this guy for the last 3 weeks. He had an off game last week, I know, but so did everybody else on the Rams. Everybody on the Rams played like trash. Jared Goff played like hot garbage. But you knew going up against Atlanta, nobody was getting stopped. Atlanta doesn't stop people. So I like Gerald Everett. Jimmy Graham, I mean, in an offense where Aaron Rodgers is apparently back. My man played like a beast last game. I don't want to take too much stock in it because they were playing the Raiders, but I mean, a game's a game. 5 touchdowns, still 5 touchdowns. And if Devontae Adams doesn't come back this week, Jimmy Graham could see an increased workload. But that's the thing. You never know who it's going to go to. Is it going to go to MVS? Is it going to go to him? Is it going to go to Lazard? That being said, this is a handcuff for a tight end, which I never do. But if Zach Ertz ever gets injured, Dallas Goedert is going to be a beast. And even if he does not get injured, I still think he's a solid play. If you are scratching the bottom of the barrel and you're using Knox or you're using any of these other no-name tight ends, I think that Dallas Goedert might actually be a solid play from time to time. So keep an eye on him. And if Adam Thielen is actually injured and can't play this next week, watch out for Kyle Rudolph. He had 6 targets, 5 receptions, 16 fantasy points, 58 in a touchdown. Watch out for him if Thielen goes out. He's a big target. All right, let's get to defenses. All right, I think that the Colts is a great defense because they're going against the Broncos, and the Broncos got sacked 9 times last game against the doggone Chiefs. And the Broncos don't have Emmanuel Sanders because Sanders was traded. I mean, is it just going to be the Cortland Sutton show and some running backs? So I say watch out for the Colts. The Steelers have been playing pretty good defense, and anybody going against Miami is a good defense. So next we have the Saints going against the Cardinals, and the Rams going against the Bengals. The Rams getting Jalen Ramsey looked great, guarding Julio, and the Bengals suck. So there's that. Also, honorable mention, Carolina Panthers going against the 49ers. The Panthers are still tied for the lead in sacks. Actually, they may be second now that the Patriots put on a throttling last night of the Jets and the Panthers were on bye. But I think the Carolina Panthers are a good defense as well. So that's going to do it, Fantasy Bay. That's going to be the Waiver Wire show. If you have any questions, hit me up on social media. Or if you personally know me, hit me up. Text me. I got plenty of people asking me fantasy questions now, which is actually pretty awesome. But yeah, good luck everybody on the waivers. And Fantasy Bay, Mike Williams, I'm out.